Okay. Okay. I believe that these biogeochemical cycles are kind of familiar to you already. Perhaps I'm not so sure, but I would guess that these are these concepts were already mentioned as well in your senior high school. But as part of the topic of this course, we will still be talking about it. So when we say biogeochemical cycles, they are also known as nutrient cycles, which actually describe the movement of key chemical elements through different media, different location, so to speak, such as the atmosphere, the soil, the rocks, even the bodies of water, and of course, organisms as part of the whole system. So the movement of these cycles would go between living and non-living, not living, the living components and non-living components of the ecosystem. It's very important for us to talk about this, to talk about the biogeochemical cycles because they keep the essential elements available to the plants and other organisms. So these are the key elements that are important for the survival. Of course, these are not the only ones because even, for example, humans, we need several important elements. And that is why some vitamins are also developed because we have needs on those elements. Some are macronutrients, some are micronutrients, but as a whole, for these biogeochemical cycles, we will be talking about the four major cycles, no? The carbon, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, and the sulfur. So energy, um, yeah, so here it ensures the cycle itself would ensure the continuous availability of these elements, the essential elements for plants and other organisms. So energy flows directionally through the ecosystems. Um, Generally, the ultimate source of the energy is the sun. So entering as sunlight or inorganic molecules for chemoautotrophs and leaving as heat during energy transformation between the trophic levels. Last time we talked about the different trophic levels, now from the producers, from the heterotrophs, autotrophs, heterotrophs, and also the secondary consumers. So rather than flowing through an ecosystem, usually the matter makes up the organisms like us. Now, kitang mga animals or even the plants as well, all the organisms, then conserve and recycle. So muna siyang, it's basically one s- cycle, continuous cycles, I mean. So there are several connections, not only one direction, but there are several connections. And somehow a portion of these cycles were um, manifested or shown in the assignment that I gave you last time. Sa ganitong assignment kung gihatag ninyo, katong task, second task. What is that? Sa ganito,
Food chain and food web, sir.
yeah, chain and food web. So these connections between animals not only I would say show the transfer of energy, but as well matter, right? So that's just the between the living organisms. But when these materials go out of the system of the organisms or populations, they enter into the the abiotic components, and they are part of that, and are also cycles. So practically, the cycle of these different matters are uh, in both the biotic and the abiotic components of the ecosystem are involved. Then there is what we call the law of conservation of mass. Anyone who would like to tell me what is the law of conservation of mass? Anyone? What is the law of conservation of mass? So basically, it says that matter is neither
Created nor destroyed.
created nor destroyed, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think you are familiar with this concept. It's very fundamental. And so in biology, biology is not independent of other disciplines. As we know, biology involves or applies. There are a lot of concepts of physics that are being applied in understanding biology. So in this case, we are talking about the ecology, the ecosystem. So in this case, the concept of the law of conservation of mass is basically applicable. So when we say uh, the law of conservation of mass, neither nor created, neither created nor destroyed, but only transformed. So the law of conservation of mass is parent in the dynamics of the ecosystem. So, for example, after a chemical reaction, the mass of the products will be the same as the mass of the reactants, no? Or the ending molecules equals the starting molecule. So, practically, dapat mao ni ang imong ma-observe in the ecosystem in terms of the mass. Because as the law of conservation of mass says, matter is neither created nor destroyed. So dapat ang mass of the reactants, no, must be equal to the mass of the products. The starting molecules should be equal to the ending molecules. So the same is true with the ecosystem. Matter moves to the different media, as I said earlier, um, from the environment, the matter would be incorporated into the bodies of the organisms, and somehow some will go back if the organism kay buhi
Mm.
pa through paglibang nato, no, and other ways. And when the animals or organisms would die, so these components will go back to the ecosystem as well. And of course, because of the law of the conservation of mass in the ecosystem, the atoms or the amount of of the matter remains constant, right? So, hindi siya nag-move. Okay. So, in the ecosystem, matter cycles through different forms and media, but as I stated, the total amount remains constant. Now, um, in this case, the focus of our discussion are on two major elements: carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, because these are the four major components of almost all organisms. And it is important to note that the biogeochemical cycles of these four elements, the carbon, the nitrogen, the sulfur, and the phosphorus, are actually interconnected with water cycle. So for example, the movement of water is critical for the leaching of the sulfur and phosphorus into rivers, lakes, and ocean. When you say leaching, kung say pasabot ang word ni leaching, what's the other term for leaching? Anyone who would like to share?
Reliance, sir.
leaching, the word leaching, kani. So when you say the four elements, as mentioned, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, are actually the cycle of these are interconnected with the water cycle because water enables the leaching of sulfur and the phosphorus into the aquatic systems. So when you say leaching, it can be considered as flushing, maybe. I think the nearest equivalent word for leaching is flushing. So ma-flush siya from other sources into the water system, and it becomes available for the aquatic systems. No, so when you say leaching into the rivers, into the lakes, into lagoons, into oceans, no, and today we have understood already that human activities, no, when you say anthropogenic, anthro means human. So anthropogenic activities or human activities are actually significantly altering the ecosystems and disrupting the natural nutrient cycles. For example, kinsay taga Mandawi dere, sa familiar sa Butuanon River. So there are several activities that are altering. I don't want to say damaging, but I just want to use the word altering the cycles. No, then we can observe that in many water bodies as well. And later on, we'll be talking about if the unsa man ang tawag ana process or state of water bodies due to some anthropogenic activities or human activities. Now let's proceed to the first cycle. So this is the carbon cycle. Can anyone um, describe the cycle and provide some description, basic description of the process itself, and including describing the arrows, the component of the cycle? Anyone who would like to volunteer? We always hear about carbon. So carbon is amongst the most talked elements, correct? The carbon cycle. So basically, the carbon is the basic building block of all organic materials. Have you taken organic chemistry? Almost all of the molecules that contain carbon are considered organic, meaning components of living organism, living, no, of course, living organism or living things, except for what molecule containing carbon that is not organic but rather inorganic. what
Butong
molecule what molecule containing carbon is not considered organic? Like when you get carbohydrates, it has several carbons. When you have proteins, nasa siya carbon sa yung backbone. So these are organic compounds, organic molecules. But there is one molecule that has carbon but is considered as inorganic. That is carbon dioxide. So basically, carbon is the building block of all living organisms. So the carbon cycle is actually comprised of several interconnected cycles. One, ang usa kay dealing with rapid carbon exchange among the living organisms, and the other is considered as slow or long-term cycle of carbon through unsa man ang long term unsa man ang